Hello, Michael here with Bear Coast Real Estate. I'm a real estate agent here in the Dallas area, and every Monday I give you a weekly update covering all of Dallas County. We're covering trends, which cities and zip codes are the hottest this week if you may be considering selling, and which cities and zip codes are the coolest this week if you may be a buyer or an investor looking for a deal. Where might there be opportunity? We'll also be tracking mortgage rates, and usually we track mortgage application data because it's our best leading indicator of where demand is going to be 30 to 90 days from now. But that data usually doesn't get updated until later in the day on Monday, so I'm just going to start putting that information down in the comments when it becomes available. That way I can continue to do these on Mondays instead of having to wait until Tuesday. So today we're looking at things like median list price, days on market, how many homes had price decreases, and inventory. If this sounds like something you're into, make sure and hit the subscribe button. And if you're looking to move in the Dallas area, whether it's next week or next year, I'd love to connect. Call, text, shoot me an email. All that info is in the description below. Okay, today is April 10th and things are still heating up. We're entering the spring market. This is typically when prices and demand start to climb, and we're definitely seeing that. So let's start with mortgage rates. Okay, if you'll remember, last week was a 6.57%, and this week we are down to a 6.34%, which is great for buyers because it means you can afford a lot more house. Like I said, I don't know what's happened with purchase applications yet, but I am 100% certain that they went up again this week. That would make the 5th straight week of purchase applications going up, which means demand is coming in. And as soon as I can confirm that data, I'll put it down in the comments. But basically what it's looked like is anytime we get up near 7%, demand dries up. Anytime we get to 6.5% or under, demand comes back in. So I would assume it is 6.34 entering the spring market. For sure, more people are applying than last week. Okay, let's move on to housing data. We always start out by looking at Dallas County as a whole. The easiest way I found to track all of this market data is with this market action index. It is just an easy graphic that outlines all of this data over here into an easy number that just tells you, is it a buyer's market? Is it a seller's market? If this number is 30 or below, that's considered a buyer's market, since historically only 30% of the time are we in a buyer's market. So anything above that, and we're just asking how much of a seller's market is it? So Dallas County as a whole, you can see this gray bar, that was last month. We're up from that, suggesting that we are heating up, becoming more of a seller's market than last month. And you can see that all reflected over here. Median list price is climbing, price per square foot is climbing, days on market is dropping, price decreases are dropping. Inventory, though, is holding steady, and that's great news. What we want to see in the spring market is for inventory to go up. So it's really good to see that the market action index is saying it's more of a seller's market and that inventory is going up. We really need that because we are at crazy low inventory. And then the easiest way to just track how this has been going is using the market action index itself, and you can see how much it's been curving up. This is how much the market's been heating up. So that's the market index. If you want to be signed up for this, this is a service that I pay for so that you guys can use it for free. So if you want to know exactly what's going on in your specific city or zip code anywhere in Dallas County, just shoot me a text or an email. I'll get you set up and you can get this every week. So as you can see, all of this data is suggesting the market is heating up. So if you're waiting to buy a home, I'd love to hear why in the comments, because I see no evidence that things are gonna get any easier for you. So if you think it's gonna get easier to buy, I'd love to know why. Now let's move on to our top 10 charts. If this is your first time, a very quick explanation. We're using that market action index we covered to rank the top 10 hottest and top 10 coolest of each city and each zip code. So there's been a lot more changes this week than usual as the markets are starting to heat up. So let's start here with our top 10 hottest cities in Dallas County. This is the big surprise. For the first time since we've started this videos, Lewisville is no longer the hottest market. It has switched places with Grapevine. So Grapevine is the #1 hottest city in all of Dallas County, followed by Lewisville. Carrollton remains in the 3rd spot. Balch Springs moves up 2 spots. Sachse moves down a spot. Irving moves down a spot. Richardson holds its spot. Garland moves up 1 spot. Grand Prairie comes in all the way off the top 10 coolest list, so a big jump for Grand Prairie. DeSoto comes in out of nowhere, and it knocks Rowlett entirely off the list once again. Rowlett is on and off of this list like every other week. Now if we zoom in on these markets and look at specific zip codes, the hottest zip code in all of Dallas County is 75007 in Carrollton, followed by 76051 Grapevine, 75077 Lewisville, 75063 Irving, 75067 Lewisville, 75044 Garland, 75062 Irving, 75080 Richardson, 75041 Garland, and 75252 in Dallas. And then if we look at this third one, this is which zip codes were the hottest just this week. This is only a 7-day average, so don't weigh on this heavily at all. These change every single week. These are 90-day averages, so they're much more reliable, but these are just what was the hottest zip code specifically this week. And as you can see, there's not exactly a hottest because all of these markets were at 100 this week, this one a 97, and this one a 90, almost 5. So I'll give you a second to take a look over all these zip codes, see if yours is on here or anything relevant to you. And then we're gonna move on. Okay, moving on to the 10 coolest cities and zip codes. Ferris and Seagoville keep their spots. Sunnyvale jumps on out of nowhere. I don't think we've seen it on this list, and it jumps almost all the way to the top. And as you can see, it's not that it's cooling off, it's just that it's kind of remained cool as everything else is starting to heat up. Dallas moves up a spot, which on this list is bad. It switches places with Lancaster, so Lancaster heated up a little more than Dallas. Red Oak and Mesquite retain their spots. Cedar Hill moves up one, so that's bad. Wiley moves down one. And then Rowlett, again, it comes from the last spot on the hottest list all the way to the hottest spot on the coolest list. Moving on to zip codes, I won't read all of these, but these are the coolest zip codes. If you are looking for an opportunity, this is where you're gonna find it. Again, a 30 is a buyer's market, 30 or below, so Ferris is the closest to that, followed by 75212. And then really, I mean, these three are still in the 30s. So basically 40 and under, that's the most opportunity. So if you're looking to buy or invest, I'd be looking at these this week. And then we'll move on to just the weekly, where were the coolest markets. And we can see that these were very cool markets. This one was at a 15. So remember, a buyer's market is under 30. We're at 15, 26, 27. Yeah, all of these from here under were basically a buyer's market this week. So we start from city, we zoom into zip code, and then we zoom into this week. But again, this information is less reliable, so take a look, but I would be relying more on this 90-day average. All right, now we're moving on to inventory, and the way we do this one is this is the 90-day average, and this is a 7-day average. So we look at this one to spot early changes in trends, but it's not really a trend until it shows up here on the 90-day. So what we can see here is Dallas is starting to have a little tick up in inventory, but you'll see right here it's looking to flatten out, which is good. We want to see the weekly start climbing, and then over time we want to see this flatten and then start climbing. We want more inventory. We're in too much of a supply constrained environment. It's not good for anyone, so we want inventory to climb. Just looking at Mesquite, Garland, Grand Prairie, there are no signs of inventory climbing in any of those. But if we look at Irving this week, for the first time, there was a little jump. So let's look over at Irving. We're hoping that this is going to flatten out, and we're hoping that we're seeing it right now, that this is a start of inventory climbing. Richardson looks to be flattening out, Red Oak flattening out, Carrollton definitely flattening out, Rowlett flattening out, Wiley still looks to be headed down. So a lot of these markets seem to be flattening out, which is what we need, and then we hope to see them curving up in the following weeks. So that's all the data for this week. Did anything surprise you? Let me know in the comments below. Once again, I see no evidence that if you're a buyer, things are going to get any easier. So please don't wait if you're wanting to buy a house this year. And remember, whether you're looking to buy or sell in the Dallas area, whether it's next week or next year, I'd love to connect. Call, text, shoot me an email. All of that information is down in the description below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.